My name is Irving Salazar, and I was born in Aguascalientes, Mexico, but came to the US when I was like 3 months old. You know, it was kind of a crazy scenario. There was my friend's dad, who was always kind of a father figure to me. He has been talking scripture to me for years. And then it got to the point where I would go there and my buddy wouldn't be home and none of his siblings would be home, so I'd be stuck there listening to him preach to me. And then eventually the words he spoke to me started to make sense. And that's when my landlord at the time actually told me about this church. And I came here on February 28th, 2016. I still remember the date. Because it was a really special date to me. It was the first day that I truly accepted Christ into my life. Before I said, I think it was 2 weeks prior, I started considering myself a Christian, but it was that date that I truly felt it.
What about that day made you feel it?
Just how uncomfortable I was after the service. And it was really funny because the pastor at the time, his name was Pastor Bob, and he instantly spotted me and made a beeline towards me. Because I showed up to church wearing a suit almost, because I was raised in a Catholic church. So I thought that's just how it was. I was definitely overdressed. And he introduced himself, and he's telling me about himself, and then he kind of just stops and he looks at me and goes, "By any chance are you a guitar player?" And that's the moment that I instantly felt it. That's the first time I truly felt God.
Wow.
God wanted me to be here. God wanted me to be here in that time. And then I was really uncomfortable because he asked me if I would stay and jam with the worship team. And I've never heard a worship song in my life. And I was going to say no, but when I went to say no, yes came out of my mouth. And at that point I was like, okay, I committed. I'm gonna do this. And then I jammed with the worship team, which was a whole different group of people back then. And that's when Pastor Bob asked me if I wanted to be on the worship team and play the following Sunday. And again, that's when God spoke for me. I went to say no, but I ended up saying yes. And ever since then, I can count on one hand how many Sundays I've missed. I've been on stage every Sunday ever since, basically.
What keeps bringing you back?
Just the feeling I get when I'm up here worshiping God. Because there have been times where it's been rough, like when our former worship leader left and I started to lose my musicians one by one because of payroll things. I wasn't in it for the money from the beginning, so I stayed in. The thing that kept me coming back was the feeling I got every time I stepped foot on the stage. I might be stressed out the minute before, the 30 seconds before, but once I stepped on this very sanctuary, it wasn't about me anymore. Just the people. If I would have stepped foot into my old Catholic church, they would have shunned me basically, because I've got tattoos and long hair and all that stuff. But when I first stepped foot onto the church, everyone was very welcoming. The first person who came up to me was Leanne, and she introduced herself, and I was just like, you don't think I'm gonna burst into flames? It was a pretty nice feeling to feel accepted for once. Bob Baldwin, he always kept my spirits up when I was down. Al Bishop, for the rivalry we have, because I'm a Bears fan, he's a Packers fan. A couple of new members, Missy and Oscar Cruz. Especially Oscar's story, it really inspired me, just because I went through a lot of the same stuff he did, and he still maintains a very positive attitude about it. God is not just here, He is everywhere. Whether you're going through bad stuff in your life, He is there, and He hears your prayers. Thank you so much for accepting me. Thank you so much for inviting me back. I love each and every one of you.